Welcome, everyone. We are so happy to have PowerDMARC here today to talk through seamless email authentication and automated billing and our newest integration from Gradient and PowerDMARC. So thank you all for being here today. Just a quick reminder, this webinar is going to be recorded and sent out after the event. So if you missed anything, or if you want to take the demo that we're going to be showing off later today in a slower manner, you can do that once we send you the email. This is also going to be on our website, and I'm sure PowerDMARC's website as well too, so you'll be able to view it anytime on both of our websites. So I'm going to hand it over to Matham, who's going to start off PowerDMARC.
Thank you very much, Andrea. We're very excited about the Gradient integration with PowerDMARC to help the MSP community integrate email authentication with ease. So PowerDMARC is an email authentication SaaS platform, and the major problem we're trying to resolve that there are around 300 billion mails sent every day. 60% of these emails are spam, spoofing, impersonation. Email has been always the biggest vector to compromise organizations and the easiest entry to any enterprise or to any organization. And as per the reports and statistics, the biggest loss to organizations has been always business email compromise. So why it matters, why it's a problem, why email authentication is the thing, it's because of the gap in the email security protocols. So email protocol has been invented really long time back, and it's extremely easy for any criminal or any script kiddie to impersonate any identity or impersonate any organization, start sending emails on their behalf. The traditional defenses that organizations have are not sufficient, and criminals or hackers are just like investors. They're looking for the highest return with the least time invested. So it's extremely easy to do such kind of attacks and get the maximum return to criminals. The risks on organizations are different from CO fraud, from fake invoices on companies' behalf or on the supply chain, using the company brand, domain, an entity to spread ransomware and do different stuff. And of course, it's a big legal implication if someone starts sending emails on your own domain name from different aspects. We've seen cases that organizations are being abused on their behalf by selling drugs, weapons, and illegal stuff that are not authorized on. So what PowerDMARC helps and what PowerDMARC does. So PowerDMARC is a SaaS-based platform that brings 6 different email authentication protocols at ease to organizations and MSSPs to implement different protocols. The multiple acronyms here, many people might feel weird going through every single acronym, but DMARC and the other protocols really help organizations improve their email security, their email authentication. It also improves the delivery of emails. So DMARC has been there for some time, and it gives a lot of visibility on what emails are sent on your behalf and how they're being delivered. So it's an added value from 2 aspects, from a cybersecurity perspective, blocking unauthorized senders to send emails on your behalf, and also from a deliverability perspective, it helps emails get delivered in a better way. So there has been a lot of talks about BME. So like last week, Google started showing blue mark signatures on domains that have BME, and this is very exciting for the industry. This will increase the adoption of DMARC, and this will help a lot of organizations improve their email security posture. So PowerDMARC brings all these 6 protocols at ease from a single dashboard, and we're powered with AI intelligence, threat intelligence capabilities to identify any malicious sources that are sending emails on your behalf. It's very exciting that PowerDMARC, it's very exciting for us here in PowerDMARC to integrate with Gradient MSP to allow MSPs easily reconcile their bills in the PSA. We're very happy to have this part of our suite. So this allows you to really connect to the different kind of PSAs that Gradient has. Beside that, what PowerDMARC brings to the MSPs, it's an additional security control on your security stack. DMARC is not something optional anymore. It's like a really, really important thing. I always say to the customers that talk to us and ask about DMARC, why do we need it? I would just simply say, don't you install an antivirus or a anti-malware on your device. It's just the same thing. You need to have this connected to your domain name to protect anyone to abuse you. So it's an additional stack to your security suite. We support multi-tenancy. PowerDMARC has white label. The MSP program we're running has no contracts, no commitments, just pay as you go. We provide complete support onboarding. You get 15 days free trial, and you can get a lot of marketing material along with training and certification. PowerDMARC currently has more than 400 MSSPs worldwide using our technology. We're protecting more than 1,000 of enterprises across the world, Fortune 100, banks, governments. So email authentication has been the thing. And now, along with the beauty of Gradient, we're integrating to 7 different PSAs, if I'm getting the number right, multiple PSAs at ease. So yeah, that's PowerDMARC. Thank you very much, Andrea, for getting this into place. We're very much excited about the integration. Anyone that requires any kind of support, so we have full documentation, we have a video recorded, and we're ready to support any MSP that needs any help in getting this integration up and running.
Yeah, thank you for that overview and explaining all that PowerDMARC does, especially for MSPs. I am now just going to do a quick overview on Gradient MSP if you're unfamiliar with us and what we do and what's this integration all about. So just an intro to myself. I'm Andrea Ayala, the Director of Technology Alliances for Gradient MSP. And I also have this guy named Andrew McKay. He is our Director of Sales, and he's actually going to take us through a demo and setup of the integration so you can see firsthand what it looks like and how to use it. We at Gradient believe that accurate billing matters, especially now more than ever in this economy. We want to make sure that our customers are getting charged for what they're supposed to be getting billed for, right? So our main goal is to solve for everyday business problems, bringing a new solution to an old problem that many MSPs have. And so if you're the person that actually manages that monthly service invoice, or maybe your contracts across the different customers that you have, you know just how painful monthly reconciliation is. It's time consuming, it's manual, and it's really difficult to actually get right. Not to mention that there's multiple portals across different vendors in your stack. And an average MSP actually has a minimum of 5 to 7 vendors that they're currently working with, which is great. There's a lot of great tools out there, but there's a lot of wasted time at the end of the month going into their portal, going into the PSA, making sure that everything is correct. That's precious time. You can be solving security issues or even, implementing a new product that you're launching. With the ability to adjust in our actual platform, it will auto update within your PSA. So you'll be able to invoice in confidence, knowing that your PSA, so professional services automation tool, is your source of truth. When vendors integrate into your PSA, they're usually just pushing and auto writing information into there. And so when you invoice at the end of the month, sometimes you don't know if that's actually accurate or not. What we're giving you is this platform that sits between vendors like PowerDMARC and your PSA to be able to create that source of truth and know that what you're billing out of your PSA is correct. Like I said, Gradient gives you a single platform to integrate all your favorite vendors like PowerDMARC. And so all you need to do each month is just review your service cards in our platform, adjust, approve if necessary, and then invoice. We actually support 9 PSAs, and PowerDMARC now supports 9 PSAs, all of the top ones that are in the channel, as well as some new up-and-coming PSAs, which means...
My bad, Andrea, I said 7.
You were close. You were very close. Sometimes I have to count on my fingers to make sure. If I didn't have this slide up, I maybe wouldn't know either, so that's okay. So any PSA that you would like to use to invoice out of, we likely support, and now so does PowerDMARC, which is great. Just some stats around, Gradient MSP and where we are today. So we just hit our 900 MSP partner number, which we're very excited about. We have over $7 million in unbilled revenue recovered for our partners, $2 billion of annual revenue reconciled on our platform, and we save MSPs around $7,000 500 hours monthly in that monthly billing reconciliation task. We're also SOC 2 and STAR Level 1 certified, which I know is super important for a lot of MSPs. This is a look at our platform, which Andrew next will show you in way more detail, but I wanted to give you a look at our core purpose of Gradient and our billing module. It's to really make this view and make billing that much easier. We've completely simplified the process, giving you this single platform, which is what you see, to manage all your monthly service invoices across the different vendors in your stack. We're eliminating the need to have to go back and forth between the vendors. It's all just in one platform, and you're able to just adjust and correct accordingly. If we don't have a vendor that's currently in your stack, what you can do is actually utilize our platform through the CSV import feature, where you can export your monthly usage from a vendor, drop it into our system, and essentially create your own invoice. But for vendors like PowerDMARC, and as we get more vendors added, you'll be able to connect their integration and have all the services you utilize daily just flow through our platform. So I want to now hand it over to Andrew, who is going to show a little demo and show the setup process.
Thank you, Andrea. All right, let's share a screen.
So Andrew, we have also Sivak on the call, so any assistance from our side, we're more than happy to assist. So Sivak, thank you very much for joining the webinar too.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, Sivak. Now, I'll be honest, it is pretty straightforward. Hopefully we shouldn't have any issues. It's very, very simple, but I'm going to run everyone quickly through the actual setup of the integration. And then once you're set up, what next? So what we're looking at right now is obviously the gradient synthesized billing module. Now, I've skipped a few steps to get where we are at this point, but those are very simple, and that is effectively creating your account. So you can use Microsoft or Google SSO. You could also use an email magic link if you prefer. And then the next step, which is actually tying in your PSA. Now, depending on the PSA that you're using, it's going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 fields that you need to fill in, but it's going to take you a total of 5 minutes to actually get this done. Once you've synced your PSA, Gradient goes ahead and actually ingests the actual contract or agreement data into our platform and then reorganizes it. And this is what you're going to be seeing at this point. So now we've got the PSA side. Let's get the other important piece, which is the actual vendor side. So to do that, we're going to set up the PowerDMARC integration. We're just going to click on integrations at the top here. Scroll our way down to PowerDMARC. Now I've already got a bit of a head start on this. So what you would actually do is generate your API token, and then you're going to go into your PowerDMARC portal, which obviously we've got right here. From your menu on the left, you're going to go to your integrations and then choose Gradient. And on your Gradient MSP data integration, you're just going to copy paste that API key and click the button, and you are all set. From there, you do want to have the data synchronization push. So you're going to sync the data right away. What that allows us to do is our next step in that setup, which is actually mapping your accounts. So now that we've done the PowerDMARC setup piece, that is the extent of what we need to do from a setup portion. And we are just going to hit next. Your next step in setting this up is going to be mapping your accounts. Now, this is very straightforward. What you see in the box on the right here is the actual account name as is being pulled over from PowerDMARC. What you would see on the left here is actually what exists in your PSA. So these are already mapped, but what we can do is, and the reason these are mapped is that we do auto map accounts. So if you do have, let's say 100, 200 different accounts, as long as the names match exactly from your PSA into PowerDMARC, we're going to automatically map those, which saves a big chunk of time in the actual setup process. If they didn't match exactly, you can simply just search here. So you can actually pull up whatever account you want, just do a quick search. It's going to partial filter, find the account. All you need to do is drag and drop, and that's all there is to it. Your next step is going to be your service mapping. And again, this is very straightforward and very, very simple. You do have the services from PowerDMARC, depending on which service you actually want to map. If you've white labeled this service at all, or potentially you've bundled this service into a security bundle, this is where you get to decide, based on the counts from PowerDMARC, what do we actually want it to update into our PSA? So again, we can search for whatever we need. We've already mapped it to our PowerDMARC service in our PSA. So we are all set. That is the extent of setting up the integration. It is a very, very simple process. And from there, you're going to see the data start to flow. Now, you can force that synchronization again at any point in time. But the nice thing is that once that integration is set up, there's no other work that you have to do to get your data into Gradient. That data is automatically going to push from PowerDMARC into Gradient, and you're going to see a screen that looks something like this. So the nice thing here is we can now see on each of these cards, and just to quickly give everyone a explanation of what they're looking at here. We've broken this out into the individual services or the SKUs that you have in your PSA. Each of the cards represents one of the customers in your business that actually pays you for that service, or that has that service on their contract in your PSA. Number on the left represents what you're currently billing out of your PSA. Number on the right represents what you're actually being billed by PowerDMARC at this point in time. So very easy for you to actually take a look and see, do the numbers match? You might have a number of them that are completely accurate. There's very little fluctuation. That's perfect. You can actually leverage some of the filtering to just view any cards that have discrepancies. So whether it is an increase or a decrease, you can filter out all the rest of the noise and see just the cards that actually have a change. Now, we'll use Paper Street Soap Company as an example here. 136 licenses last month. Obviously, they've had a few staff come on board, so we're up to 140. Typically, I would have to go back into my PSA, find the agreement, scroll down to the right SKU, edit it, change the number. It's pretty time consuming and a number of clicks for every single one. If I'm leveraging Gradient, all I need to do to update this is click approve. You're going to see that card disappear. If I did it in error, I could undo very quickly, but that's it. We've written back to the PSA. We've updated the count. Job done, and you're off to the races. You can also bulk approve. So we are of the opinion that there is such a thing as too much automation in billing. We don't necessarily want to automatically push all of these counts directly into your PSA, because ultimately this is going to represent the invoice that you're sending to your customers, and you do want this to be as accurate as possible. But we don't want to have to go through and click 100 different cards for each service. So this is where I can use multi-select. So I can select all the different cards that I want. And if it's just these three that have any variation in them, I can select as many or as few as I want, and I can approve those cards as well. So again, once I click that, you're going to get a pop-up. We're going to approve those. Those cards will disappear until your next billing cycle. And as soon as that billing cycle starts again, typically first of the month, you're going to see those cards pop back up. And again, any changes you can action for the appropriate month going forward. Now, the last card that I do want to quickly show here is something like this, where you may see Acme Corp. Now, this is an interesting example because this does unfortunately happen more often than we want it to, where maybe someone's deployed a handful of licenses as a proof of concept for one of these customers. So if you only have 5 licenses deployed, you may have said, you know what, we're not going to bill you for the first month. We're going to see how this goes, and then we'll deploy it across the whole company and we'll bill everyone the next month. This is why it's important for us to not automatically push these counts, because that would then bill the customer for 5 when you've told them that they're not going to be billed that month. So I can either dismiss this card if I choose. What that's going to do is just ignore that card. Nothing updates into the PSA. We're still showing 0 licenses on Acme Corp's agreement, meaning we're not billing them for any of these seats. Next billing cycle, this card's going to reappear. If it's now time to start billing that customer for this service, I can just click add. And it's going to give us the option to actually go ahead and choose the agreement or the contract that we want to add this to right from the dropdown. We can ensure that the counts are accurate and obviously the effective date. Go ahead and assign. And that's going to add that line item as another SKU onto that customer's contract. And you're not worrying about missing out on any potential revenue. Right? Now, this is a great view if you want to look at it from a card perspective, but just as important if you do have a large number of customers. If you're dealing with 100 different customers, that can become a bit unruly to look at. So you can actually just switch over to our list view here, or our condensed view, and you can again scroll through, see which customers have any discrepancies. You can action the cards the exact same way. So I can approve, adjust, or dismiss right here. The adjust button is very handy if you do want to prorate any transactions. So if your PSA supports that, that's also supported through Gradient here. That's pretty well the extent of it. I wish I could make it more complicated, but the idea here is to simplify billing. And you know what? In a couple minutes, we can go ahead and do exactly that. So if you do have any questions, please feel free, put them into the chat, put them into the Q&A. Alternatively, you can feel free to reach out to us. Andrea is going to show a little slide here at the end, just with some contact information. Now, lastly is let's get into how much this is actually going to cost, because we want to make sure that we are helping you across the board. So if you go to our website, you're going to find our pricing page. It is not secret. We want to be as upfront about this as possible. The pricing is dependent on the number of active accounts that you have in your PSA. So depending on the size, this is a problem that scales with any MSP. If you're just starting out, it's going to be a little bit less expensive at $199 per month. If you're going up and you're a larger MSP, let's say 200 or 300 accounts, you're going to be seeing about $499 per month. However, we want to make sure that if you are a PowerDMARC partner today and you want to leverage that integration, that this isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg. So you do still have the option to actually sign up for a Gradient account, get everything set up, and then set up on just a free account with tying in just that single PowerDMARC integration. Now, that's going to give you the opportunity to leverage the integration, reconcile all your PowerDMARC usage, and not have any cost associated. If Gradient is doing its job, obviously, we're hopefully helping you reconcile your entire stack and not just a single vendor. If that's the case, you can then move into one of the paid tiers, which means that you can set up multiple vendor integrations. You can leverage that CSV integration option that Andrea had mentioned earlier. We do have a number of other features, things like custom integrations, stuff like that, that you would also be able to leverage. So by all means, you can try this out, get yourself set up and use this without any cost. But if you find that this is something that is going to work across your entire business, we do want to help you with that. And we want to make sure that we're not just helping you recognize some potential revenue that you're missing, but more importantly, that we're helping you drive efficiency through your entire business, and that this reconciliation process isn't something that's taking you potentially hours or sometimes even days at the end of the month and maybe even slipping off your plate, that this is something that you can do in a very short matter of time and ensure the accuracy of your invoices. So that is it for me. I'm just going to stop sharing here, turn things back over. Now, if you do have any questions, I know Andrew's going to share out a slide, but Nathan, if you had some questions, anyone had some questions about PowerDMARC, how would they go about getting a hold of you guys?
Thank you, Andrew, for the detailed presentation. Very much clear, as simple as it gets.
So, sorry. So I just wanted to quickly throw this out here. So we are hosting, Gradient's hosting a virtual conference. It's in a 32-bit style of event where it's a game-like experience. You get to run around on go-karts and go to awesome sessions and learn about how to grow your MSP business. So if you're interested in joining us on June 1st, feel free to go to legupconference.com and get registered. It's a free event, all free, and get a cool day of sessions, but also get entered in to win lots of prizes. So very excited about that. But Andrew, you mentioned an email that somebody can reach out to if they want more information around Gradient.
Let me finish fighting with the mute button here. Yeah, so if you do have some questions, by all means, you can send us an email at howdy@meetgradient.com. Alternatively, if you want to visit our website, obviously just meetgradient.com. You can take a look at some of the options on there. If you wanted to do a bit of a deeper dive, go through some use cases, things like that, by all means, you can book a demo with our team there as well. But if you do have just some quick questions, like I mentioned, you can throw them into the chat, throw them into the Q&A, or you can definitely email us and we will get back to you here as quickly as possible.
Doesn't look like any questions have come through, but Nathan, how would someone be able to learn more about PowerDMARC or get in touch with you?
Yeah, so our website is available, powerdmarc.com, or anyone can just feel free by sending us an email on sales@powerdmarc.com. We'll be more than happy to assist. We also have a landing page on Gradient website, so you can reach us out from the Gradient website. So we're more than happy to support the Gradient MSP integration. Our engineers and our support team is available across the clock to support this integration, make it as seamless as possible.
That is true.
Also, wanted to share with you about my thoughts about the integration. As the lead as the lead developer of this integration, I want to highlight how remarkably simple and user-friendly it's to get started. The entire process can be broken down into the 3 steps: setting the API key, performing data integration, and enabling synchronization. With just a few clicks of a button, you can seamlessly connect between your systems and start using it. Actually, we have designed we have designed it with simplicity in mind, ensuring that even user with less technical experience can effortlessly navigate through the setup process. And I think this seamless integration simplifies the workflow and saving you valuable time and resource that can be better utilized in other areas of your business. And that's all. Thank you for your time.
That is really true. Savak, you did a great job at making the integration smooth and easy to use. Like Andrew showed, he set it up in maybe 5 minutes. So
And I'm not that technical.
that's always a plus.
Thank you.
It doesn't look like we've gotten any more questions come through, so I'll go ahead and end it here. But thank you all so much for joining us today, and thank you to the PowerDMARC team. They've been amazing to work with and just crush this this integration in such a short period of time, making it super easy for their partners to get an integration into their PSA. So thank you to you.
Yeah, thank you, Andre, also to Gradient team. I think every vendor needs to connect with Gradient. I personally think the experience and the partner support, the technology support has been seamless. The Slack channel, all the support from marketing, from engineering has made the integration so seamless. We're very happy to be on board. We're very excited. We're looking forward to integrate down the line as part of our product roadmap more features. So I really advise and recommend the community and the vendors out there to make it more easy by connecting to Gradient. Thank you, Andrea, and the team.
Thank you for that. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.